going to introduce myself very quickly. So my name is Andrea, and I'm product marketing manager at Houzz, which basically means that my mission as a PMM, as we call ourselves, is to actually understand what our pros are going through in their everyday life, and basically how we can enhance the software to be a little bit better to match your needs and expectations. So my goal is really to retrieve the information and all the feedback that you're giving us and try to transform it into actionable items that we implement in the software. That being said, we are going to host those webinars quarterly. So every quarter, we're trying to ramp up all the improvements that we have done and the new features that we have launched, just to give you a bit of a demo of all the items that we have developed, and just to help you ramp up a little bit faster on those new improvements. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll start today with some new features. All right, share content. All right, I suppose that you can see my screen. So basically today, what I wanted to show you first is regarding the CRM. So we call it CRM, but it's basically on your lead tab here. So on this tab, there are several changes that have been made. So if you click on leads here, without accessing like a specific lead, but just like the overview, you'll see some things that have changed. The first thing is that you are now able to add the tasks directly onto your leads. So let's say that here I need to follow up with Greta Care on different type of action. I can add a task and say recontact after Easter, for instance. Then I can create that set of tasks and add some assignees. So member of the team, I can add due date. So Easter is probably around this time. And then I can add a new task. So this is very similar to what you have currently in projects, but we have implemented that into leads. What's great about that new feature is obviously whenever you're going to the lead management view here, you'll see the task that it's here and overdue. So you can also rearrange those tasks. You can pin a task here and just basically have it directly in a very easy way. So you can pin those columns. You can also customize what you want to see in your lead overview. So if you want to hide lead source, if you want to hide estimated revenue, whatsoever, you can just save it, and then you have your view customized. But so what I was mentioning for tasks is, let's go back to Greta projects. So I'm accessing tasks here, and on tasks, you can add several tasks. Send a proposal. Proposal, sorry. Oh. I'm just gonna edit here. And then what's great about that is that once you set up all of your tasks for a lead, you can go to action and save it as a template. When you save it as a template, you are able to access all of those information to another lead. So let's say I'm saving who is the team members assigned to that task, the subcontractors, or the task description. So I'm just going to leave it like that, and I create a new template. Then I go and save it. And whenever I want to open a new lead, let's go to else inquiry. Up, I go to tasks, and then action. I can use a template and reuse the template that I've saved previously. So test template, insert, done. And then I have access to all of those tasks. So obviously there are only 2 tasks in that, but I suppose that you have many more tasks to add when you're handling a lead. So it's a way of building your right template and then apply it to every single lead based on where they're coming from, what needs to be done, and so on. So it's very much a way to save some time while you're preparing for your leads and enhancing that relationship with them. So that's what's up for the tasks part. Another cool feature that we have added to the CRM is actually the tag feature. So in here, you can add different type of tags directly into your leads. So it's your way to create your own process. Let's say that I want to tag based on, let's say, project. So is this like full home renovation, for instance? I create that tag. I can also create a tag based on a location, for instance. I can, oh, sorry. I can create a tag based on, let's say, work needed or assignees, for instance. So I'm just going to assign Flora. Obviously, you can filter down, by lead owner, lead manager, and so on. But this is a way to actually retrieve the right information. So if you go back to leads and you click on that, and then you want to, like filter out by tags, you're able to do so. So you can apply that and you'll have the leads based on the tag that you have selected. So in that regards, we really wanted to, power up the way that you're handling your leads and build like a strong CRM that will help you effectively manage your relationship with your leads and basically keep everything organized and so on. So that was something that our pros asked for. So we have delivered that. Clear all. Up. No tags. I'm going to check if you guys have any question. If you do, feel free to put them in the Q&A tab. Flora is our moderator today, and she will be answering your questions. So moving forward to the CRM, once again, we have developed something else, which is customizing your lead stage. So in the past, we had those different type of, steps that the system provided. But in an effort of customizing once more the CRM and let you do whatever you want to do, you can manage your lead stage here. So if you're trying to, I'm gonna go in here, hide and reassign. If you are trying to add a new step, if you want to frame your process in a different way, you can just add a new stage. Let's say it's going to be connected and to follow up, for instance, up. So you're stopped at 25 characters. You can move, drag and drop the stages, and then you create your own sales funnel. So it's particularly relevant if you're using the CRM, if you have your own workflow, if you have your team following up like a specific order. And so this one, you'll be able to actually, change the stages based on what you have implemented. So it's a way still to customize what you want to see, better manage your sales funnel and basically know where you at a glance. So from that specific dashboard to see where you at and where to follow up. Plus with the tasks, if there are tasks coming by assigning the dates. So you keep everything at the same place and do an active follow-up on what you're gonna, like how you're gonna deal with your leads. So that's for the CRM part. I wanted to move to the floor plan part. By the way, if you're on the CRM, in the past, it was not possible to have a 3D floor plan on the leads, which is now resolved. So whenever you're using your phone to do a scan or that you want to create a 3D floor plan for a lead that is not already converted into a project, you're able to do so directly on the lead part. So I took a Violet Ranger example, and then I can access the 3D floor plan. And what's new about that is now thanks to AI, we are able to upload a 2D plan and let it transform automatically into 3D. So from the lead, I've asked to upload a drawing, and I'm gonna upload one of my plan. So it's a French blueprint, but we are all using the metric system, so that works. So I'm gonna upload a blueprint, and then I can choose if I want automate floor plan to 3D or manual. Manual means that I will draw over the lines of my blueprints. Automate means that I'm going to let the system do that for me. So if I continue, it kind of works. If you have already worked with our takeoff system, you will know the trick. But basically in here, and it actually works the same way as we do in manual, you're selecting a specific length. So for this one, I'll select this one, which is 18.9 meters. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna put 18.9. Default wall height, we're gonna keep like this, but you can just update that. And once you're ready, convert 3D your 3D floor plan. So the system will generate basically the lines of your blueprint. So it takes up like 40 seconds. And as you can see here, if I'm moving to dollhouse mode, you will have your plan. So it's particularly easy to use, especially if your lead or your clients already has like a PDF or PNG file. Maybe if it's a complicated type of floor plan and that you're going to spend a lot of time, like building the different type of elements and so on, it's really easy to actually create that. And if you see on that plan, on the floor plan here, we are missing just one wall here. So I can just go to this toolbar that is actually changing. So it's 50% rolled out, that new toolbar. So you may or may not have access to that, but it's just a way to actually create action more easily. I go to draw walls, and then I can connect those walls. So you see it's including as well like the windows, the doors, the framing, and so on. So it's very easy. It's like a really time saver for that specific feature, because it helps you obviously like populate a floor plan more easily. And especially for those of you that are using, let's say, SketchUp or AutoCAD or this kind of floor plan, and if you want to have, like, let's say, a more like a quicker view of what you want to do for your client. Let's say that your client has like a specific plan, and then you want to provide like a very first draft of that, erasing some of the walls or dry walls that are creating inside, and like basically rearranging, let's say, the hallway or some of the rooms, or like creates like an opening in one of the room. It's very easy to do, especially because now Automate allows us to do so. I'm gonna see if there are some questions. No questions so far, so let's continue. So for that floor plan, as I mentioned, just like to recap, you can also, from a floor plan, if you create it from scratch, you can go to upload drawing here, and then you can upload your plan, re-upload a new plan, and basically create that version directly thanks to Automate. So we have that going. I'm going to move to another project with that is more, furnished in terms of floor plan, to show you some other stuff. So we're going to a kitchen floor plan here. And as I mentioned, you will be accessing that new experience. If you haven't yet, it will be available very soon. But it's basically a way for you to access much more easily the different types of things that you need to do. So in here you have draw walls. Obviously you're creating walls, but you can create outdoors as well. So let's say that I'm going to do like a small balcony over here. You're able to create that and basically add that. And you can create your room splits by selecting which room you want to split here, and like create a different type of flooring within the same room. I'm going to go and create this one. Then you have add your measurements. So obviously it's helping you create the measurement and basically have access to different type of measures if you need them. And then you have photorealistic rendering. So this feature has been set up live over, I think, a little bit over 6 months ago, but it's still worthwhile like remembering. So to create and generate a good photorealistic image, what you need to do is that you need to go into dollhouse mode or walkthrough mode. Something that you need to know is the rendering will be much better if you add a ceiling to your floor plan. If you don't, it will consider it as open space and the lighting will be a little bit off. So to make sure that you have the ceiling, you can just click on a room, for instance. You're going to structure, ceiling, edit ceiling, and then you can add a ceiling there. So for that example, it's a flat ceiling, but you can choose if it's sloped or vaulted. The ceiling has been added. Then I go back to dollhouse mode. I can create a photorealistic image. So create new camera. I will update the camera height, the field of view, and then I click generate photorealistic image, and that will generate a photorealistic image. If you haven't done the test yet, we'll let the system generate the image, and I'll show you how it works and how it looks like. It's a quite powerful tool to actually project your clients with what you're going to sell them. It's been very much appreciated by the pro who has been using it, so I suggest that you take a look. And then I exit photorealistic image and I go back here. And then you have comments. So comments is here. In the past, it was like a little icon, but basically you can tie comments to different type of elements. And in here, write down to your client or to your team, please find another option. And you can add your co-workers. So you have this one. There is something else that has changed. So zooming in and zooming out are now on the right of the corner. And you have that little eye, and the eye is the settings. So this is where you want to show grids or not, you want to show rulers or not, room label, wall dimension, all windows and door dimension. So basically, this is where you select to have it or not. One new thing that we have introduced is the way that we share the client dashboard, the floor plan. In the past, it was like a separate window. Now we give the opportunity to have it to the client dashboard. So I'm going to send that to myself, and then I can grant access. And then I can also send that as an email. All right, so that's for the floor plan. Another thing that we have released probably over 3 months ago, so if you haven't had the chance to look at it, oh, there you go. You see, I have the camera, the photorealistic image that was generated. So let's take a look. And then you have this type of rendering. So you see, we can see all the lighting here and the little pod there. So this version versus what we have here, let's go back to the dollhouse mode. This is what we have. All right, so we have that. And one feature that we have launched for the 3D floor plan is the proposal feature. So basically, it's a way to create and generate faster proposal, faster estimates based on a floor plan. So if you go to proposal here, you'll have several items that the system select for you. So by default, the system will select all the items that you have put into the floor plan. So it's going to be surface area, it's going to be ceiling area, floor perimeter, and so on. So you have the choice of taking it out or toggling them on to include them in your proposal, or you can create from scratch a proposal. So let's go with create from scratch. So if I want to select, let's say, that specific flooring, so we know that this flooring and this flooring are the exact same. So I'm selecting those two, pressing the Shift tab. So one, I press Shift and I press Shift. Up. Sorry. Up. I'm selecting this and this. So two items, two rooms were selected. It's the same flooring, and then I'd add item proposal into the proposal. So I can include the floor area and I can include the perimeter. So I'm just going to include the floor area. Then if I go back to the floor, the proposal here, I have floor area and then tick parquet. And here I can edit the item. So if I want to remove, to rename it and say floor, and then I can add a percentage of waste. So let's say we always take 10% of waste. Notes, I can add notes for the team. FYI, the ref is XYZ. And then I can save that item. And then you can replicate for everything that you have in your floor plan. So it can be walls, it can be items. So this item, the oven, if I want to add it, I add it into the proposal. And then once you're ready, you will be able to generate a proposal based on all of those items and an estimate as well. It works for both. If you're a designer or if you're a general contractor, you'll have access to that. And to do so, let's list all of the items. So we'll have like a more, like a bigger proposal. Then I can preview, and this is what I will have for my proposal. So you have everything, furnitures, structures, element, and so on. So I have everything here, and then I can create a proposal that will lead me directly into my proposal / estimate builder. For the sake of that presentation, I'm on designer account, so that's why we have proposal. But if you're a GC, you'll have estimate builder. And then there you go. You'll have your proposal ready to go, and then you will be able to modify the cost. Let's say it's going to be £35, or here it's going to be £40. So you see, it's gonna add up to the surface, and then you can also modify the surface if you need so. So let's say you're not gonna put 5.49 but 6, and then you have your price that adds up. So it's really a way to actually, if you're creating a proposal based on square meters or linear meters, it's really a way to accelerate this process and be able to generate a proposal much faster. Still in a way to actually propose to your client, like a better option in a faster way. I'm going to just check if you have any question yet. I assume she was showing an example on screen real life. Yeah. Okay. So Paul has a question. As an electrical contractor and home automation expert, the one thing we were asked a lot is to create lighting design for a project. Is this on the horizon? So we have several lighting options, Paul, but we are adding options every month. So it's definitely in the works. But if you want to let's say, go deeper on that, please, can you precise exactly what you need in terms of lighting design? Thanks. All right. So we're going to proposal. Oh, yes, I figured that I haven't shown you because I've not shared what's the realistic render looks like. So I'm just going to switch screen. Hold on. Sorry. So this is what the photorealistic render looks like. So going back to the main screen, we were in proposal, and there is something new regarding the proposal builder or the estimate builder. And basically all the item that has catalog in it is the new catalog revamp. So in here, you have your new library. So the library is my items, templates, and recent proposal. So from my items, you'll be able to retrieve all the information that you have saved, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a group. So if you go to product, and basically here it's the product that I've saved using the Clipper extension. So if you haven't downloaded the Clipper extension from Houzz Pro, I will highly suggest that you do, because it's really like a time saver to build on your proposal and basically your project. So you'll have access to the product here. You'll also have access to all of your services. So it's always broken down by in this project. So what's included in that project and what's in your library. And in your library, obviously, it's retrieve all the information that was saved. So you're able to filter out per room, per approval status, supplier. So if you have like a forehand, let's say, supplier, and that you want to show that, it's easier to retrieve those information and so on. And then you have also access to your group. So all the groups that you have created, you can do here. And if you want to create a new group, this is where you do it. So I'm going to show that again. Cancel. Okay. So I'll go to create group, and then tests. I'm able to add a new group, kitchen cabinet, for instance. And like here, I can add door cabinet, another sorry, I'm not so inspired by that group, but you get the result. Let's say 140 pounds and like 60 here. And then you create your group, and that will be added to your proposal. And then you'll be able to retrieve the group into your library. So this is the new catalog. Then you have templates. So basically, whenever you're creating a proposal or an estimate, I just want to remind you, if you go to actions, you can go and create a template. So you go to actions, save as template, and then you can do a proposal template, kitchen renovation, for instance. So it's particularly useful when you're building your service proposal, or for a general contractor when you're creating your estimate, and then you can save all the information here. If you save it, then you'll be able to retrieve it from your templates. So might need a little refresh there. And then you'll be able to access that template. So in here, you'll see all the items that are in your template, and you can add them all, or you can add some of those. And then you can also work with your recent proposals. So basically, you can retrieve all the information that you have put in your proposal recently. So this is the new catalog revamp. Let me know in the chat if you have already played around with that a little bit, and what's your feedback. But it's just a way for us to display better. In the past, there were like your items and your library, so it was a little bit harder to navigate throughout the different items from the project versus the library elements. So it's really a way to make it easier. Another thing that we have done is the ability to add a line item directly. Create. So if you go on tests, in the past there was like a pop-up to create. Let's go to kitchen sink, for instance. I want to create a kitchen sink. Then I just have to press enter, and then I have my kitchen sink, and then I can add up my markup, unit type, this way. It was already available for general contractors, but if you are a designer, in the past there were like a pop-up that you had to fill, so it was a little bit more cumbersome. So right now you can just add line item as you go. So that's one of the new things that we have developed so far. I'm gonna just check if there are any questions. Not yet so far, so feel free to drop them in the chat if you need to. So we have covered basically the CRM, the floor plan. We have discussed as well estimates on floor plan and the new catalog revamp. So now we are just going to move into the project itself. So I'm still using that sample, and I'm going to go to schedule. So if you have ever used the schedule feature in the past, you're able now to set up some dates. So if you go to actions, you're able to create your workday exceptions. And especially, I mean, I'm French, so we do have plenty of bank holidays, but you have less in the UK. Too bad. For us, it's like 15. But so basically, you can include those and add the workday exceptions. So if you want to add another thing, let's say it's your birthday and that you don't want to work, you can add that specific birthday. Mine is 18th of October, and it's up, obviously, the 18th. And then I can save the work exception, the exception. So this, as long as you add all of your, like the workday exception, it will reflect obviously into your schedule. So I'm going to go back to the schedule, and they will appear as workday exception, and you'll know it's going to be grayed out. So this is what you can do with that. Another thing that we have added to the schedule is the ability to add a milestone. And it was commonly asked by our pros to be able to, like finish up a project. So let's say here is like end of consultation, for instance, and that you know that the date needs to be up. I'm going to change it, and the final date needs to be by the 26th. You can add that milestone here, right? And then you can create dependencies as well with the milestone. So it's just a way to actually close up a specific phase, so you're able to do so directly in the schedule. Once again, you go to add item, you go to that little arrow, and then you add milestones. So that's for schedule. Another thing that you can do with schedule, I don't know if you have already used it, but you can add multiple dependencies, right? So if you haven't, it doesn't have to be tied to one. And I'm just going to remind you that in here, you can also change the position of the different elements, and you can change the phase that they're in. So if you have an item that is not well placed, you can definitely do that. All right. Maybe something that may have slipped as well is set baseline. So to track your progress using the baseline is it's actually quite nice feature to make sure that you're on schedule. So basically, if you have some delays and some days behind and some days ahead, you're able to change that and to see at a glance if you're late or if you're early in the process. And it becomes very much relevant when you're on list view. So you have Gantt view here, you have calendar view, and you have list view. And list view, you're able to see at a glance the different dates, if you're on schedule, if you're a little behind, sorry. And that helps you navigate throughout the project. Once again, here it's in live mode, meaning that it's shared with the client. One of my pro tips that I'm going to share with you is whenever you're doing a lot, if you have already shared your schedule to your client and that you plan on doing several changes, don't forget to put it back into edit mode, so you're able to do all the changes without the client getting the notification. Sometimes it can be a little bit cumbersome, so feel free to go back to edit mode. And then once you're done with all the changes and so on, you go back to live mode, which is particularly helpful when you're setting up the baseline. Is when you see that there are things that are taking much more time, or that you're some days behind, and at the end of the project, when you have like updated all the information that you want to display and actually like setting up the different dates, you are able to go to action and save it as a template. So you have an even more accurate template. So template schedule 2. You have an even more accurate templates of realistic date from a real project that you have been handling. So that's why it's really like a matter of like ramping up your skills on Houzz to be able to really assess, like the project that you're working on. And sometimes when we are creating, like schedule, it's really a way of projecting yourself into the work, and you're doing the best case scenario. But obviously we know that when we're handling projects, it's never the best case scenario that happens. So it's really like a great way to see how to consider all the things that we cannot oversee or see coming. So that's for schedule. Any questions so far on schedule? Nope, no questions. Okay. All right. There are no questions, then let's continue. So if we go back to project there, you'll see something that is rolling out. Sorry, I'm going to go to sample project, which is, if you scroll down to the end, you will have the project activity stream. So this is, again, 50% rolled out. So for the one that doesn't have access to that, you'll be able to access it in a couple of weeks maximum. And so in that sense, you'll be able to see all the activities that were done onto a specific project. So you see here, I created the proposal, created the tasks, and then I can follow up on what I've done for that specific lead. So it's particularly useful because it's linked to the work. So if you are working with a team, if you have some interns working into several projects, and then you want to check their work, or you want to go to the right documents that they have been working on, you can just click it and then go to proposal. So it opens up a new window. So yes, it's working this way for this one, and it's very easy to have kind of like like a chronology of what you have done and the work that remains to be done. So we have that for project. Another thing that we have created is the Enhance Notification Center. So if you go to the little ring bell here, you are able to see all the notification, and then you can drill down by general versus common. So if you have any comments on, let's say, selections board, flow plan, mood boards, and so on, you'll be able to access those. And here you have your general notification. So you'll be able to access everything here. And then if you want to access all the notification, you go in here. And so notifications, they are by default concerning all of the projects, but if you want to drill and customize, you can just select only one project, and then you have access to all the notification there. Apply, and there you go. So general and comments. So that's for the enhanced notification. Then let's go back to the sample project from Houzz. Just a little bit earlier, we discussed, the tasks that we created into the lead, which is still the case in project, but we have added another feature, which is called the snag list. So the snag list is really a way to actually close up some tasks that needs to be done, but also tasks that need, let's say, a proof of work done. So if you're going into a construction site, you create your snag list, and then you ask for assignees to close those tasks with a picture or video or something. You're able to do so. So snag list works like tasks, right? So you create your snag list, your list here. Let's say test 2. And then you can assign people there. So I'm just going to assign Louise. Then I'm going to ask Sarah. And then I can basically open one snag list. And here you see you're able to ask for photo submission required for completion. So meaning this photo or video must be submitted to complete this task. So if you're, let's say, for instance, that you in your snag list, you have doors and drawers opens / close smoothly, you can put it photo submission required for completion. So once Sarah has done that, she'll be able to click on the little circle to say it's done. But because I haven't included any photos, it doesn't work. On the contrary, I'm going to set a due date here. If I go and open this and then I attach a file, then I have access to, my files and photos from Houzz, but I can also upload from Google Drive or upload files here. Let's go with that. Just going to go with a random image, client dashboard. Then I'm going to attach one file. And here it's been saved. I see the attachment here, and I can put it completed. So it's really a way to keep the control over what you want to verify with your subs or your team, and it's a proof of work and basically a proof that things have been done in the right way. This I'm showing it to you obviously on the web part, but it's also available on the app. So that's for snag list. I'm going to check if you guys have any questions regarding that snag list. And if you don't, let's continue. We don't have much time left, but we should be good to go. So another thing that we have developed for, the subs, as I was mentioning, so it's either your team or your subs. If you go to company here and then you go to subcontractors, you're able to create custom trades. So let's say that in here, render and plaster, I'm just going to edit Marabella finishes. I can create a new sub, a new type of sub. So in here, let's say utility 2, I can create a custom trade and assign different type of trades to the same subcontractor. Obviously, if you're dealing with like bigger, bigger teams that can handle different type of work, such as plumbing, electricity, render, plaster, whatever, you can add those different type of trades, and it's much more easier to assign your subs into the dashboard, and then you save changes, and then it's done. All right. So that's for projects. And another thing that I wanted to show you as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. By the way, it has changed in here as well. So if you want to add a client there, it's just there that you're going to do it. And then you can add the different information from your clients and basically fill out the information that you need to have. If you're going to search, and I don't know if you guys were aware, search, like hovering over that search helps you like access the different type of, like elements. So in here, I'm going to go to all mood boards. And so I'll have access to all the mood boards that I've created without concerning one specific project. But what you can do now is you can do bulk actions. So if you select, like, let's say it's 3 different types of mood boards here, but it works as well for selection boards, you're able to duplicate those 3. You are able to download them as PDF, print them, delete, and here you can publish them to dashboard or unpublish them from dashboard. So it's like much easier if you have several mood boards. You're not sure from like a specific project, and you're not sure if you have shared that with the client, with the clients, then I'm going to publish those 3 mood boards, and that's fine. So that's bulk action. It works for mood board, but also for selection boards here. If I select different type of, no, sorry, it doesn't work for selection board, but it will very soon. So we have that for the project. Another thing that I wanted to show you, and it's really fresh and it's really new because it has been launched like a couple of days ago, is the new client dashboard experience. So the new client dashboard experience, basically, if you go to client dashboard, you'll have access to something new. So basically in here, you are able to customize what you want to display to your clients. So by default, you have all the features here. But if you want to hide the selection board, if you want to hide the floor plan, but keep the task and hide the schedule, you can save it, and then it will have only access to what you're giving them. I don't have any financial elements here, but I'm just going to create one quickly. So you're able to see how we are going to share now the financial information. So I'm going to do action, send up. that's what the client will see. Oh, just gonna go back to my client dashboard. So you see, I find back this estimate, right? So if I go to the home page there, I will see the proposal that I've shared. And this is where I customize what I want to display to my clients. So do I want to say what's the total outstanding versus total paid? Do I want to hide that? Do I want to add the total available retainer versus available credit? So it's hard for me to say available. And so basically, this is where I display the information. So if you don't want the clients to know what has been paid yet, you can just leave the total outstanding. And so at a glance, they will know how much it remains to be paid. We are hiding that and total paid because last time I talked to a US pro, and he was telling me that basically he wanted to hide the total paid because if the client knows that they have spent that much money, they won't be so inclined of like paying the total as outstanding. So it's worthwhile like hiding it in some cases. So yes, basically that's it. And then you can preview the client dashboard if you go there, and you'll see at a glance what your clients will be seeing. And so basically at the top, you'll have the notification that they have a new estimate to review. So quick action here to review the estimates. And then you have everything else here, right? So that's the new revamp that we have done. All right, we are staying like 10 minutes. So I'm just going to show you something that is going to be live the 24th of March. So I'm going to stop sharing and go to the US account because it's already live for the US and we're lagging a little bit behind for the UK, but it's coming in 5 days. So let me reshare my screen there. All right. So that's the US interface, okay? So don't be frightened, but you're going to get it as soon as possible by the 24th of March if everything goes well. But you will have another thing here called My Product. So every time I was interviewing pros regarding 3D floor plan, I was asking, what would you do if you had a magic wand with a floor plan? And obviously, a lot of them were telling me, I wish I could convert the product that I have clipped into 3D renderings. So that has been like such a high request. And thankfully, AI exists now, and that helps us create those products. So basically, you'll be able to access my product, and then you'll be accessing your library with your product that you have basically saved, and you'll be able to create a 3D rendering based on the product that you have. So I'm gonna take one. So it works. It doesn't work with windows. It doesn't work with flooring. So it has to be, like a proper piece of furniture. I'm gonna go with this one, this chair, and then I convert it to 3D. So I select that chair, continue. So first step is that it has to be clear. It shouldn't be like ambience kind of type of image. Then I add mask. So adding mask, basically, it's really like I click on add mask here, and then I click on the elements. Okay. And here I see if it takes like the different legs and so on. So it feels quite okay right now. I see that there are 3 different, like 4 legs. So I just had to add 2 masks, and then I create generate product. So AI is generating the products, and then when it's done, it will be reviewed. For instance, this couch in here is something that I've generated through AI. So that's the rendering that we can expect. So it's really like very convenient, especially if you have like big piece of furnitures. By the way, you need to be very careful. Like for instance, here I have one remaining credit, so we are capping the different type of credits based on your like SKU package. You'll have a certain amount of conversion each month. So you need to be careful with those one. And then once it's ready, it will appear in needs review. So you see I've added the masks for the chair, and now I'm gonna review it. So in here, what I see is it's not the one that I've selected, by the way. I think the other one is still charging. Yes, there you go. In here, that's the new one. So I'm gonna go and do review. And yes, in here I have the chair, so I can select where is the front, where is the back. So by default, it selected correctly, but there you go. I'm just gonna do it over again. Then I can put the height in. So because it's in the US, obviously it's height, it's in feet, or at least in inch. So I'm just gonna take a guess and we'll see. So obviously it was wrong. Let's do the other way around. Yeah, looks reasonable. And then I save product, and it has been saved to my product, so I can add it here. And now I have the chair. Obviously it's like it was way too big. I created like a giant chair, but there you go. You see like how it works. And so basically it converts into a 3D rendering. So that's what you're going to get in the upcoming days, hopefully. So just hold your horses and you'll be able to test it out. By the way, if you want to, like, if you have any feedback to send us, feel free to drop them to my email address. It's I'm going to write it down in the chat. We are always looking for feedback, whether they are positive or negative. So feel free to just send me an email if you want things to be changed. If you have any, improvement requests, we're very much willing to hear them. So I think it's pretty much it for today. I wanted to show you. Thank you, Neus. Neus included my email address. So if you have, any questions so far, if you have any improvement, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll give probably an extra minute to, to cover those. And if you don't, I wish you a great day, and we'll see each other in the next quarter.